Hey crafty friends, welcome to the Pajama Crafter Stamps YouTube channel. It's Rick back with you today, and I have a fun project to share with you using the Date Night stamp set and dies. We're going to be talking about how to use pattern paper to get your color palette and to help create elements on your card. And we're going to start off by coloring up our images I'm using Spectrum Noir markers. You can use whatever alcohol markers you have, but you want to use your pattern paper to pick your color palette, and you do that by picking some colors that are in the pattern paper. Like, for example, the pattern paper that I picked from my stash has some pinks and teals and yellows in it. So I've pulled those colors from my markers set, and I'm coloring up my images to match. I did add in the dark red because there is a little bit of red in my pattern paper that I'm going to use to create my frame for my card. So that is one thing that you can do with your pattern paper to help you get more use out of it, is use it on your cards to pick out your color palette. So as we finish up our little coloring here, I'm going to skip over the rest of it. I just wanted to show you how I colored most of this to match my pattern paper. And then we're going to jump into everything else. All right, so I'm going to cut these out with the Date Night dies. Before I do that, I'm going to stamp the inside of my card. I picked a sentiment from the stamp set, and it is the second sentiment in that set, and I can't remember what it is now, but that's really not important. So we're going to stamp that down. I've added two of the images also from the stamp set, the little film reel and the tickets. I stamped it in a lot of the pink ink, and I didn't like it, so I went back over it with abandoned coral and stamped over it to make it a little bit darker. So I've done that twice, and now I've folded my card base up, and I'm going to add the frame that I made with my Dot Designer Series paper, or pattern paper. You can see I've cut 3 different patterns out. I used one for the background, and it's just a very tone-on-tone, subtle pattern. That's one thing you want to do. You want to mix your patterns up. So you want to have a tone-on-tone pattern, and then more of the pattern that are your dominant colors that have a smaller print, and then one that is more of a geometric print. And you can see that the outside of my frame is the geometric print, and I used that floral pattern that I picked all my paper from, or picked all the colors from, to create that frame using some dies. And I did list a few dies that are part of the Pajama Crafter Stamps store that I think would make really cute frames. So we're going to attach our pieces now. We've attached our frame with some foam tape. So now that we've had our images cut, we're going to add that dimension with our foam tape. And that way, for using our background, let's go back to our background for a second. Since we used our pattern paper on our background, it's going to allow us to have that little extra pop of texture and color in the card. So that's something else you can also do with your pattern paper, is you get that little extra texture and color that ties everything together. That's one thing that's great when I use pattern paper to pick my color palettes. It allows me to get that cohesiveness. So I've added the frame with the foam tape. I'm adding the little soda and popcorn holding hands with the little foam tape. I've added that popcorn with foam tape. And the rest of my popcorn, I'm just going to scatter around and have it like a fun little night out look. But I thought this was a nice little spring/summer card. It's a great time that you could use for any occasion. All right, as we finish putting on our elements on our card, we're gonna come in with our shimmer pen and add a little shimmer to it. I just wanted to, you got to have a little sparkle. So I did come in and add that little date night. So we're going to add our highlights now with our gel pen. Don't ever forget your highlights. It makes your color pop, and it helps tie in the white of the paper also. So now we're finishing up our little highlights. I just dotted some around in the little circles, or the little lights, I should say. And I'm going to finish off my card by coming back in and adding a second layer of the aqua shimmer pen just to give it a little bit more sparkle. It just needed a little bit more. And here's a look at the inside of my card, and there's the outside. Here's a closer look at the card, and I thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, you're probably going to like this one coming up next. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Love you. Stay crafty.